Carl Jung once said, "We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are." And that is exactly what happens when you're texting someone with an avoidant attachment style. Picture this. You send a heartfelt message, then stare at your phone in silence. An hour passes, then 2, then a whole day. When they finally reply, it's a short, flat response. Yeah, okay, or worse, a lifeless emoji. Your heart skips. Your mind spirals with questions. Did I do something wrong? Do they even care? Or are they already pulling away from me? In that moment, the real pain isn't in the words they send, it's in the ambiguity. Because that ambiguity awakens old wounds. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of not being lovable, the fear of abandonment. Your unconscious takes over, and suddenly you're caught in a cycle of overanalyzing, self-blame, and endless waiting. But here's the truth. Their text doesn't define your worth. Their silence doesn't make you less valuable. The problem isn't you, it's their fear and their defense mechanisms. And the good news? You can absolutely learn to respond in a way that is clear yet gentle texts that leave them no room to disappear, while helping you reclaim your sense of control. Today, I'll show you exactly what those texts look like. Imagine you've just sent a text full of excitement. Can we meet this weekend? And then silence. An hour passes, then 2, then a whole day. You keep your phone close, checking constantly, your heart racing every time the screen lights up. But what you finally receive is just a clipped response. Yeah, okay, or worse, a single emoji, no explanation, no warmth, just enough to maintain contact without offering clarity. In that moment, your mind starts spiraling. You ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Am I texting too much? Do they even care about me anymore? Or am I just a backup option? These questions echo relentlessly, draining your energy as you dissect every tiny detail in the conversation. The waiting becomes a kind of silent war, calm on the outside, yet inside you're in a storm of anxiety. Every passing hour without a reply feels like another cut to your self-confidence. You begin to doubt your own worth. Maybe I'm not interesting enough. Maybe I don't deserve to be prioritized. This is the moment when old wounds resurface, memories of being left behind, of feeling unheard, unwanted. The more you think, the less control you feel. And paradoxically, the less control you feel, the more glued you become to your phone, overanalyzing every symbol. What does that period mean? Does a smiley face really indicate happiness? This vicious cycle erodes your inner peace, making you forget that their silence doesn't necessarily define your value. This is the common phenomenon. When dating or being involved with someone who leans avoidant, they often send mixed, vague signals, not outright rejection, but not genuine engagement either. And you, craving clarity and connection, get pulled into a draining game of waiting and wondering. If you find yourself nodding along, it's because this experience is far more widespread than you realize. And it is precisely by recognizing this phenomenon that you can begin to free yourself from the spiral of self-doubt and move toward healthier, clearer communication. And this is the moment we need to take a step back and zoom out. Because if you only focus on the frustration of short replies and endless waiting, you'll remain stuck in the same question. What did I do wrong? But when we shift from describing the phenomenon to analyzing the behavior, the bigger picture comes into view behind those clipped texts. Yeah, okay, whatever lies a complex psychological mechanism formed long before this relationship. First, let's talk about the fear of commitment. This is central to the avoidance psychology. Like all of us, they crave connection, love, and recognition. Yet alongside that desire, they carry an underlying fear, losing freedom, being trapped, or having to shoulder expectations they doubt they can meet. To them, agreeing to meet up is not just about spending time together. It can trigger an inner storm of questions. If I say yes today, will they expect more tomorrow? If I show up, can I guarantee I'll be fun, caring, enough? Instead of facing that pressure, they default to the safer option, silence, or a vague reply that keeps the door open to retreat. Next comes the fear of conflict and emotional injury. Many avoidants carry childhood memories where expressing needs or emotions led to criticism, dismissal, or shame. They learned that vulnerability equals danger. So, in adulthood, they avoid direct conversations, even the ones you're longing for, because to them, these exchanges feel like potential battlegrounds. When they're unsure of their feelings or plans, vague texts serve as a shield, less likely to spark confrontation. Another factor is the absence of compromise models in childhood. Many avoidants grew up in environments where their needs weren't met, or where they had to self-soothe emotionally. They rarely witnessed parents negotiating, showing care, or resolving differences together. As adults, this lack of blueprint makes compromise and emotional collaboration foreign. Vague texts become a way of dodging situations where compromise would otherwise be required. This leads to a specific texting mechanism. When they don't feel fully ready, they pull back. A one-word reply like "okay" is not always a sign of apathy. It's a tool to preserve a safe distance, to avoid saying no, which risks conflict or shame. They choose the middle ground, the gray zone. It's a buffer that maintains a thin thread of connection without demanding deeper engagement. But here's where the real pain emerges. The consequences for you. Their vagueness feeds into your own unresolved wound. A simple "yeah" transforms into evidence for thoughts like, maybe I'm not interesting enough. Maybe they don't really need me. And with that, self-doubt takes root. You blame yourself, question your worth, and chip away at your own confidence. This is the cruel cycle. They avoid to protect themselves from hurt, and you get hurt by interpreting their avoidance as rejection. Two fears running in parallel, but neither side saying it out loud. Understanding this mechanism reframes the problem. It's not about your value, but about how their nervous system and childhood imprinting operate. This doesn't mean you have to accept ambiguity forever, but it does mean that recognizing the inner drivers of avoidant behavior helps you stop blaming yourself, calm the spiral, and prepare for the next step. Learning how to set boundaries and communicate clearly to break free from this exhausting loop. Once we've uncovered the psychological mechanisms behind an avoidant's vague texts, it's easy to fall into the next trap, believing the problem is entirely about them. But the truth is more nuanced. Yes, they fear commitment, they avoid conflict, and they resist compromise. Yet the most crucial truth for you to remember is this: their behavior does not define your worth. Their silence or clipped replies do not mean you're unattractive, undeserving, or not enough. It simply reveals that they are battling their own fears and unhealed memories. This realization is a turning point, because as long as you interpret their silence as a verdict on your value, you'll continue to spiral in self-doubt. But if you can separate the two, this is their fear, not the truth about me, you reclaim your calm. That separation creates space for you to protect yourself instead of losing yourself in the fear of rejection. The second truth: you have every right to respect your own time and energy. Waiting endlessly for a vague reply is not how healthy love is built. You can choose differently. Make plans for yourself. Spend time with friends. Focus on what makes you happy. The moment you stop letting someone else dictate the rhythm of your life, you reclaim control. Ironically, that strength often makes you more attractive in their eyes because you're no longer stuck in passivity. Finally, remember that clear communication is your tool for taking charge. Each time you ask a direct, transparent, yet gentle question, you affirm that you deserve honesty and that you're not afraid of the truth. When you say, "I need clarity to plan my schedule," no pressure, but I need to know if you want to meet or not, you send a powerful message. You respect yourself, and you respect them by offering a straightforward choice. Take this simple example. A woman once waited 5 days without hearing from her avoidant partner. Exhausted from guessing, she sent a short message. "Should we meet this weekend? I'd like to plan my schedule. No pressure." To her surprise, he replied within minutes with a specific day and time. Her clarity disrupted the gray zone where he usually hid. By shifting from analysis to action, you'll see that ambiguity is no longer a trap you're doomed to endure, but an opportunity to rise and choose a healthier approach. And the very moment you dare to ask for clarity is the moment you begin to rewrite the script of this relationship. After seeing the problem from a new perspective, understanding that an avoidance vague behavior reflects their own fears rather than your worth, the next question arises. So what can I do to break free from this cycle? How can I stay calm while also asking for clarity? This is where we step into solutions, where you not only stop blaming yourself, but also begin to take action that changes your experience in the relationship. The first golden principle is to respect your own time. Many people fall into the trap of waiting indefinitely. One day, then a week, chaining themselves to growing anxiety. The truth is, you can set healthy limits, such as 24 to 48 hours. If they don't reply within that window, you have the right to make other plans. This not only frees you from passivity, but also sends an unspoken message. You value your time. Alongside this, always prepare a plan B. Go out with friends, read a book, take a class, or simply spend time caring for yourself. When you build a life that's rich on its own, their text is just one part of your world, not the center that dictates your mood each day. And to truly shift the dynamic, you need a set of specific texts, messages that are clear yet gentle, designed to dissolve ambiguity. For example, if you want to address the issue directly, you might write, "I just want to be sure, are we meeting this weekend? I need to plan my schedule." No pressure. This shows initiative without pressure, because you've affirmed that you need clarity for your own planning. If you want to set a time frame, you can say, "I'm planning a movie night Friday evening. Would you be up for it? If not, I'll go with some friends." This creates a concrete choice and blocks endless vagueness. Another option is a text to clarify expectations. Just a simple yes divided by no divided by not sure would be great. Thanks. Short and straightforward. You might also send a gentle, emotional reminder. I really value the time we spend together. I just need to know how much time you're able to give. This balances care with boundaries. Finally, in drawn-out situations, use a text that sets a soft boundary. I understand if you need space, but if you're not ready or not interested, please let me know so I can plan accordingly. What all these texts have in common is a tone that's light, non-accusatory, sometimes softened with an emoji or two to reduce pressure. Of course, having a script for texts is not enough. What matters is knowing how to apply them in real situations. First, send them at a time when you're relaxed and available to observe their response without being pulled into work or other stress. Second, avoid sending multiple messages in a row or spamming. This only raises pressure on them and pushes them further away. One or two gentle reminders are sufficient. If there's still no response, it may be time to step back, because their silence itself is a message. Even more important is managing your own reaction. When you've sent a text, prepare yourself for the possibility that no response may come, at least not immediately. Resist the urge to fire off another message in panic, as that erodes your sense of control. Instead, redirect your attention to something else. Exercise to release energy. Meet friends to nurture positive connection, or focus on work and hobbies. In this way, you reduce pressure on yourself while signaling that you're not bound by someone else's silence. As you practice these steps, you'll notice a powerful shift. You're no longer trapped in the waiting game, but become the one setting the rhythm for yourself. And this shift is the foundation for the next stage, healing, where you strengthen your inner sense of security, establish firm boundaries, and reclaim emotional freedom for your life. Once you've practiced the solutions that help you reclaim control, the next important step is to pause and ask yourself, what do I truly want for myself in the long run? Because clarity in communication and setting boundaries is only half of the journey. The other half lies in the deeper process of healing within. Without this, it's easy to slip back into the same old cycle whenever you encounter another avoidant partner or a similar ambiguous situation. This is the moment of transition from outer action to inner strength. The first truth you need to hold on to is that your worth is independent of their response. Their silence does not make you less attractive, nor does it erase your value. Remember, you cannot control their fears or defense mechanisms, but you can fully control the way you see yourself. Each time your mind whispers, maybe I'm not good enough, Try replacing it with, their behavior reflects them, not me. This is the first step to breaking free from emotional dependence. Next, focus on building inner safety. This can come from small but consistent practices. Meditating a few minutes each day to tune into your body, journaling to release emotions, or working with a therapist to gain tools for managing fear. When you create a safe refuge within yourself, you won't be as easily swept away by someone else's silence or vagueness. At the same time, establish clear communication standards. What you've learned here, asking direct questions, keeping your tone gentle yet firm, is not just useful with avoidance. It's a principle you can apply to every relationship. It becomes the foundation that allows only healthy, respectful connections into your life. And finally, see this as part of your journey towards secure attachment. No one is born perfect in love, but you can learn to become more secure every day by practicing emotional regulation, cultivating positive self-awareness, and choosing actions rooted in love rather than fear. You gradually rebuild a solid foundation within yourself. This isn't just the key to relating with an avoidant partner, it's the doorway to a freer, clearer, and more sustainable emotional life. We've walked together through a long journey, from the confusion of waiting endlessly for a vague reply, to uncovering the psychological mechanisms behind avoidant behavior, then shifting into a new perspective where you realize your worth is not defined by someone else's silence. Finally, we explored concrete solutions, exact texts, and healing practices that help you stay grounded while moving toward love with clarity and strength. Remember, this journey isn't just about dealing with an avoidant partner. It's about returning to yourself, learning to honor your time, set boundaries, and build safety within. Real love doesn't grow out of chasing or waiting. It grows when two mature people meet each other in clarity, respect, and honesty. So if today you find yourself holding your phone, anxiously waiting for a reply, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, send a clear message, or choose to make other plans because you deserve clarity and you deserve a love that is whole. And trust that with every step you take to heal and rebuild your inner security, you're moving closer to a love that is mature, sustainable, and deeply peaceful.